first on Guam.
KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Apply at matson.com. New Jeep Gladiators up to $7,000 off now at Cars Plus. Named the best vehicle for adventure in 2024. Get your Jeep Gladiator today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
Potential new hospital in Manila, you think? Vergara area?
Manila for sure.
The governor announcing during a tour inside the Guam Memorial Hospital today that they will break ground at the new location of GMH. Plus, the island's only public hospital has a new state-of-the-art angio suite. Doctors now better equipped to operate on complicated procedures with the help of artificial intelligence. Our Mitsuki Hirayama has the story coming up. And in the NMI, should people who've moved away from home for several years still be allowed to vote absentee? Regional correspondent Tomas Mengotnia reports on comments made by an election commission nominee seeking to place a limit. Hafa and good evening. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. I'm Nick Delgado.
And I'm Destiny Cruz. Thanks so much for making us a part of your day. Well, the government of Guam is moving full steam ahead with breaking ground on a new Guam Memorial Hospital.
Yeah, the governor confirming today her administration plans to still have it built in Manila. After months of debate over where to put a new public hospital, it seems the government of Guam still has its eyes set on one central village.
Potential new hospital, going back to Joe's question, in Manila, you think? Vergara area?
Manila for sure.
The exact location in Manila has not yet been confirmed. The process to secure the land, however, remains with the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority. Adaloop confirming one option is to have it built along Route 15, the back road to Anderson Air Force Base. During a tour at the Guam Memorial Hospital Tuesday morning, Governor Leon Guerrero was confident GovGuam will turn the dirt on a new facility in 2025.
My goal is to do groundbreaking by next year. And believe me, we're going to meet that goal. We have to. There's no other way. We just have to.
GMH Administrator Lillian Posadas echoing that rebuilding in Tamuning is not the best option.
We're not going to have more parking at that cliff line. So really, Manila is the better option.
Just because the life of the building is 5 years or more, 5 years, which is ticking down, because 5 years was like 3 years ago, right? And that's why I'm very adamant about building the hospital. And so just because the life is there doesn't mean you now just don't improve yourself. You have to continue improving in all areas.
For now, GMH continues working on upgrades within the existing building, adding the reputation of the hospital is changing.
When I hear people come through the ER or you know what they say to me? Unsolicited. They say, Governor, the people at the hospital are the best. The nurses are great, ER is great. It's just the facility. It's just the facility. So I'm not worried about the capacity or the ability of the hospital to provide care. I'm more worried about the facility.
Governor Leon Guerrero says healthcare is going to be the best in Guam, while also telling senators seeking re-election that the $36 million in excess revenues for the current fiscal year should go toward GMH.
If the senators are true to their word about going out there and campaigning that they want to provide health care for the people, then do it by giving them the money. Absolutely. They know this. I tell them this all the time.
Well, the island's only public hospital getting a much-needed upgrade with a $2 million artificial intelligence angio suite, they say, will revolutionize patient care, not just for Guam, but the region.
Mitsuki Hirayama gets a first-hand look during a live procedure as doctors put the new cutting-edge technology to use.
The Guam Memorial Hospital's angio suite getting a much-needed upgrade with a new cutting-edge medical technology, the first of its kind in the region.
The cool thing about this specific machine is that only a few top hospitals in the U.S. have it.
The GE Healthcare Alia IGS-7 is a mobile robotic gantry equipped with the latest artificial intelligence enhancement software, 3D CT imaging, and innovative diagnostic tools. GMH Interventional Radiologist Supervisor Daniel Bernardo says it provides faster, cost-effective, and less invasive life-saving procedures.
It's just going to be used for stroke treatment, heart attacks, bleeding, gunshot wounds. If we're lucky enough, we can do cancer treatments.
KUAM getting the opportunity to witness doctors recently utilizing the new state-of-the-art angio suite during a live procedure last week. A patient with an infected kidney was able to get treatment without the risk of an open surgery.
There's no need to cut the patient open because it's just a little needle that pokes them, and the patient doesn't really feel that. We numb up the site before we even poke them anyway.
Governor Lou Leon Guerrero also getting a tour Tuesday morning.
And of course, we have Dr. Bishoy here, the cardiologist, and he's explained a lot of really good things about this equipment that would decrease risk to our patients, decrease cost to our patients, and increase longevity for our patients also.
It's funded by a $2 million federal grant from the Department of Interior awarded to the governor's office last December. GMH Professional Support Services Assistant Administrator Belle Rada, who has been persistently pushing for the new angio suite since the COVID-19 pandemic, calls it the happiest Christmas gift ever.
And I asked her, Golf, do you have money? And she goes, how much? I said about $2 million. So she looked at me, when do you need it? Like today or next month? And so the biggest Christmas gift that we received was December, when Mr. Lester Carlson called me and she said, Belle, you have the money.
And also a nice surprise for patients visiting the radiology department, Bernardo creating culturally inspired AI artwork featured in the hallways.
This stuff uses advanced AI. There's some AI-made artwork. Not only that, but before they come in, right, when we're wheeling the patient over to our room, they get to kind of start calming down and see some really nice positive artwork before ending up in the procedure room.
Matsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Now to Decision 2024 news. 41 days until the November 5th general election. We've got the latest on the election to include details for early voting on KUAM.com.
KUAM also spoke with Guam Election Commission Executive Director Maria Pangilinan to get the word out to absentee voters. Take a listen.
Get on our website, gec.guam.gov. Over there's an absentee voting tab. Go to that one, fill out the application form, make sure it's completely filled out with the address you want us to send your ballot to, and email it back to us, a completed form with your ID. You email that back to us, we should reply to you within 24 hours and send you the ballot. Now, absentee ballots have to be mailed back to us. So it has to come back via mail. It cannot come back to us electronically. We can send it to them electronically. The biggest requirement is that you're not registered anywhere else.
Okay.
Yes, and so you were a resident of Guam, or you continue to be a resident of Guam, and you want to return. You're going to return.
And you can watch more of our interview with the GEC Executive Director tomorrow on the latest episode of The Hub following primetime. Well, more than 1,000 responded within the first 24 hours of the KUAM News 2024 general election poll going live on Monday. The poll will continue to be available to users for the next couple of weeks, and it's quick and easy. All you have to do is head over to KUAM News' Facebook page and click the link to get the poll. This will help to gauge the outcome of the election ahead of the November 5th race. Remember, vote, period.
And the race to watch is between incumbent delegate James Moylan and opponent Ginger Cruz. And now, less than 2 weeks, KUAM News will have both candidates on stage for the 2024 congressional debate. The debate set for Monday, October 7th at the Encore Theater located at the Crown Plaza in Tumon. It will be 90 minutes in length, with each candidate getting 1 minute to answer the question and give a rebuttal. Then the candidate who answered the question first will get 30 seconds to give a follow-up response. Multiple local organizations have been invited as well to ask the candidates some questions. The KUAM News 2024 congressional debate begins Monday, October 7th at 6:30 p.m. following primetime. You can watch it on KUAM TV8 and streaming on Peacock and on our Facebook and YouTube channel.
Well, should more limits be placed on who can vote absentee in the CNMI?
It's become a topic of discussion by Commonwealth Election Commission nominees at recent Senate confirmation hearings. Regional correspondent Tomas Manglotnia reports.
Should there be a limit in terms of how long someone can vote absentee? That's a topic that has been brought up in Senate confirmation hearings for nominees for the Commonwealth Election Commission. Kurt John Maritita is a CEC nominee from Rhoda who echoed some of that sentiment in his hearing.
Why leave the island and look for better life when there is life here? Same as I here. So if you leave the island and want to claim for like an absentee, and then here you are saying you got zero, you have no interest in the land and the island, why vote for the island?
One senator responded to the comment, explaining the potential need to maintain the status quo no matter how long someone is away from home. The 2022 general election saw 1,531 absentee votes for the gubernatorial race.
We also have professionals. We encourage our students to go out and get the education and the experience they can out there and then come back and give back. But sometimes the opportunities are not there. So is it at the fault of the government or the community, or is it, and so I don't want to penalize that person who does intend to come back at one point if ever an opportunity becomes available, and provided that they would like to participate in the process that will affect or may affect their livelihood in the future and planning for the future in coming back to reside back here.
CNMI law currently has no cap on the number of years someone can vote absentee while away from home. A registered voter can vote by absentee ballot for reasons including needing to travel, going to school, employment, and receiving health care.
Wouldn't it just be right if you left the island to join the military, go to college, better education? That's kind of sound fair for me, but when you leave the island to look for better life and have nothing to want to do with the island, I don't know, what does that look like?
Tomas Manglotnia, KUAM News, Saipan.
New polling reveals the shifting trend lines in the race as former President Trump campaigned in Battleground, Pennsylvania.
Garrett Hagee has the latest.
6 weeks until Election Day, former President Trump in critical Pennsylvania as he's showing new signs of strength in 3 other crucial battlegrounds. Polls tonight revealing Trump leads Vice President Harris in North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona, all within the margin of error. But nationally, it's Harris with the edge, according to our NBC News poll. The vice president's 5-point lead within the margin of error, powered by a huge jump in her personal favorability, up 16 points from July, the biggest such boost in NBC News polling since George W. Bush's surge after 9/11. Still, Trump leads Harris by 8 points on handling what voters said was their most important issue, inflation and rising costs.
If you cast your vote for Kamala Harris, you're voting for 4 more years of brutal job losses, higher taxes, surging prices.
Trump today visiting a grocery store in Pennsylvania.
You talk to the people right here that are paying 30, 40, 50% more for their groceries, which I think I can say is right. Am I right? Yes, that's correct. It's a disgrace.
Inflation recently dropped to 2.5%, though prices have risen nearly 20% since President Biden and Harris took office 4 years ago. Harris planning an economic speech later this week.
I believe in what we can create in terms of opportunity for the American people. I've named it an opportunity economy.
And pressuring Trump to debate her a second time, which he is now refusing to do.
The voters of America deserve to hear the conversations that I think we should be having on substance, on issues, on policies. What's your plan? What's my plan?
And we'll be right back.
start with her and her local business. We start with them, celebrating 30 years. We start with big.
Welcome to Dusatani. How may I assist you today?
Keep doing your best. Congratulations.
Small and growing businesses. We start with global connections and make them local. At GTA, we start with your business.
Growing up is realizing that everyone who told you to eat your breakfast when you were little was actually eating this for breakfast.
It's your turn to take your place at the breakfast table and savor the taste of culinary independence with freshly toasted bagels at McDonald's. Indulge in the breakfast you've always wanted and start the day off the right way, your way.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hey, I got the job. So I can go part-time. Yes!
Some days bring new opportunities. First Hawaiian Bank can help you say yes to making the most of them. Manage your accounts, earn cash back, and when you need advice, we're here for you.
We should really get him into an art program.
No matter where your journeys take you, you can bank on the best. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes.
In times of uncertainty, trust is what leads the way. The Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
Welcome back to Primetime. Is the November trial still on track in the lawsuit filed by parents of public school students with disabilities against education officials?
The simple answer, no. Both sides presenting critical arguments in court today as the judge vacates the scheduled trial.
How prepared are attorneys to face off in trial as the lawsuit accusing education officials of violating the Adequate Education Act presses on? Or will the remaining claims in this now trimmed case find resolution before reaching that stage? Attorneys representing the Guam Department of Education and the Guam Legal Services Corporation Disability Law Center appearing before Superior Court Judge Elise Iriarte today to explore those questions. The hearing follows the court's recent dismissal of claims brought by 8 GDOE students in the case, leaving now only 2 in the fight. Attorney Daniel Summerfleck, representing the remaining students, says he now faces a dilemma, wanting to extend the discovery period through October, which would account for a scheduled visit to Ocean View and Agata Johnston middle schools before that cutoff. Summerfleck acknowledging that this extension could push the trial date tentatively set for November 12th. But emphasized the importance of compiling a thorough case, including 5 key depositions. However, GDOE attorney Jesse Nassis pushing back, arguing against expanded discovery, as Nassis contended that the case has narrowed to just 3 key points. The absence of a certified teacher for one student, a problem he says is now rectified, and the fact that both Ocean View and Agata Johnston middle schools have passed public health inspections. Nassis also pointing out that there's no good cause for the extension of depositions, as the depositions for the principals of both Agata Johnston Middle School and Ocean View Middle School have already been completed. The judge ultimately granting parties more time to gather evidence to prepare for trial. This now means that previously mentioned trial and pretrial dates are off.
In federal court, a Navy sailor who admitted to posting hundreds of child pornography images online was sentenced to 5 years and 11 months in federal prison. Defendant Andrew Wood recently learning his fate in the District Court of Guam. He has since pleaded guilty to transportation of child pornography. Court documents state Wood was caught with hundreds of videos of children engaged in explicit activity. The feds finding the disturbing images in more than a dozen electronic devices. He was also ordered to pay $86,500 in restitution and will also serve 8 years supervised release.
3 people who admitted to their roles in an illegal scheme that involved upwards of $130,000 recently learned their fates in the District Court of Guam. Loela Zhao, a senior manager of sales at Luping Beach Club, was sentenced to 2 years in the Bureau of Prisons. Co-defendants Sori Zhao, a reservations agent at ABC, and Joshua Zhao each got 6 months in prison. As KUAM reported, the investigation involved the local marine sports tour company. The feds uncovered the two ABC workers devised a scheme to obtain cash commission from customers who booked reservations directly with ABC and not through an independent sales agent. They would split the cash. The scheme occurred between January 2015 and April 2019. The trio are scheduled to appear back in court on October 21st.
Well, Des, AI has really come a long way. You can easily just go to your phone or computer and ask for an image to be made like that.
That's right, and that's why officials are warning about sexually explicit deepfake photos spreading across the internet and social media.
Now, one major U.S. city is drawing the line. Savannah Sellers now on a landmark lawsuit.
How was the math test? Yvonne Mere's first priority is being a mom. So a particular New York Times article shocked her.
About a 15-year-old girl whose life had been devastated by a non-consensual image of her that was nude.
That image was what's known as a deep fake, a picture that may be created with a real face, but using artificial intelligence to make a fake body.
When I read it, my own daughter, who's now 16, I thought to myself, this would be horrible.
Mere happens to be in a position to do something about it. In addition to being a mom, she's a top litigator in the San Francisco City Attorney's Office. She shared the article with her colleague, fellow mom and lawyer, Sarah Eisenberg.
How does this work? So there's a lot of different ways. I can take a picture of anyone, anytime.
You can take a picture of a girl going to prom.
I can grab it off of her social media page without her even knowing that I have taken it. Go to any number of these websites that are out there and just upload that picture, and it will use artificial intelligence to undress that person.
Mere and Eisenberg's boss, City Attorney David Chu, gave them the go-ahead to pursue legal action against the practice. They say it resulted in a first-of-its-kind lawsuit naming 16 top websites that create and distribute fake nude images of women and girls without consent.
What we found truly horrified us. There have been over 200 million visitors in just these 16 websites alone.
What do you understand that impact to be?
We know that these images have been used to bully, humiliate, and threaten women and girls. The impact on these victims cannot be underestimated.
Those victims range from massive superstars to high school girls across the country. The suit alleges the practice is not just harmful, it's illegal. They argue even the marketing used by the websites obliterates any notion of consent, pointing out one defendant's advertising. Imagine wasting time taking her out on dates when you can just use the website to get her nudes. Contact information for most of the companies named in the lawsuit could not be found.
They have violated deepfake pornography laws, child pornography laws.
Do you really think there's a chance you can get these websites shut down?
Absolutely. I don't think there's anyone who defends what is happening here. We're talking about everyday people who are seeing their faces turned into pornography and, in too many instances, child pornography.
For Mere and Eisenberg, it's a labor of love, both for their constituents and a little closer to home.
You want to make a difference. You want to look back. I get choked, like you want to make a difference. This makes a difference.
Do you think about your daughter when you feel that way?
I do. I think about my daughter and I want her to be proud of me. I want her to be proud of what the office does.
Savannah Sellers, NBC News, San Francisco.
Back here at home, lawmakers discussing measures on the second reading filed during day 2 of session Tuesday, and it includes a bipartisan vape tax bill. Senators attempting to iron out the kinks in Bill 193, which seeks to tax all vape products that deliver nicotine 10% in the first year and 20% the following year. The measure currently providing a tax incentive for Guam Memorial Hospital and the Department of Revenue and Taxation.
Senator Chris Barnett proffering an amendment to instead make 60% of the tax to fund the Healthy Futures Fund, which funds various public health investments. Lawmakers noting the popularity of vape products over cigarettes correlates to a yearly increasing revenue shortfall from the tobacco sin tax in the Healthy Future Fund. After a lengthy discussion, Barnett's amendment ultimately failed to garner enough support. Well, all 9 of Guam's sea heks brought from Kansas to Palmyra Atoll are now living in the wild. This marks the first time sea hek are flying in the wild since 1988. Over the weekend, 6 of the 9 were released. The release of the last 3 sea hek was delayed due to weather. KUAM spoke with Erica Royer, an aviculturist with the Smithsonian's National Zoo Conservation Biology Institute, who is on Palmyra.
We just released the last 3 today, within the last hour. We staggered the birds today that were left in the 3rd aviary just to give them a chance to depart away from the aviary. The other 2 aviaries were bickering a little bit when they got released, so we gave them today some space, and everyone looks really good.
Fly high, birdies. Next stop, Guam. Bird conservation specialists continue to track the 9 sea hecks for several hours a day to monitor their behavior. They expect the birds to establish their territory and breed as the Sea Heck Recovery Project prepares for another release on Palmyra next year, with more sea heck raised in captivity. Now for your look at your world at home.
Here's a beach view from Garapan in Saipan.
I'm Ginger Cruz, and I'm running for Congress with a plan. You can read it at gingercruz.com. Jim Moylan has no plan. You need to call his office. He lost $300 million in Compact Impact money. He let his good friend in Congress kill compensation for Guam's radiation survivors. And he takes credit for money defense is giving to Guam with or without him. Guam faces real threats and a crushing cost of living. And Washington, that's where we go to solve the problems, if you understand how. Congress is tough. You have to engage with members, know what you're talking about, be convincing, and move Guam's issues. From my start in the Guam legislature in the 80s, to the Ada and Gutierrez administrations, to the highest levels of the federal government, this has been my life's work. I even taught it at UOG. A lifetime of experience means I'm ready to work for you on day one. I'm Ginger Cruz. I approve this message, and I humbly ask for your vote.
Let me get a cantina chicken burrito and a bowl with that seasoned, slow-roasted chicken I like, please.
You have a golf course in your house?
I got a Taco Bell in my house, bro.
Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, there it is.
Cheaters don't get chicken. Huh? Cheaters get no chicken.
I won't give him any.
Cut. Sprawl. Level change. Level change. Shot. Level change. Shot. Sprawl.
In grappling, as in life, success is achieved through preparation, adjustment, and execution. And the Phoenix Wrestling Club hones the techniques of island-wide athletes, getting them ready for the upcoming season and for the challenges of the real world ahead.
I look for consistency and level of understanding of the move that they're trying to achieve. That for me is very important.
I make this super funny analogy with the kids where they always ask me what's coaching like, and it's like coaching anybody's like playing a video game with a broken controller. Like I can give you all the skills, but it's up to you as like the athletes kind of take the input that I give and actually roll with it.
The devil's in the details, and that's what a lot of these matches are decided on, details.
Coaches Pavan Blas and Leo Tadella helm the long-standing program as an open invite, welcoming wrestlers of both genders and at various levels to train together and all up their games.
Females training with the males, it's actually really good because they get to see what faster opponents are, because there is a clear difference, but it also helps when we have our girls wrestling the same weight as the boys, but they're stronger, faster. So it actually makes the girls get better with their technique.
Island Cancer Center has the only state-of-the-art Halcyon Linear Accelerator, providing radiation treatments in the Asia-Pacific region. We are excited to be back up and running after Typhoon Mawar. We have been providing the highest quality patient-centered care for 14 years and will continue to do so. Why? Because we love what we do. Island Cancer Center, our family treating your family. Visit us at islandcancercenter.com or call 671-646-3363.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Find a plan that goes with your flow. Get unlimited local talk, text, and data at the most affordable rate with Unlimited Flow Postpaid.
Vince Borja is a great candidate for senator. He's an MBA, a retired Army officer, an adjunct professor, and an entrepreneur. Vince is a leader who will use education to help our island combat poverty and drugs. It's time to change the majority in the legislature. It's time for positive change. It's time to bring back values. It's time for leaders like Vince Borja. So please vote Vince Borja for senator. No nonsense, no business.
I'm Vince Borja and I approve this message.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by J. Goodman, a happiness company.
Piloting a commercial aircraft is much more than getting passengers from departure to arrival. It takes brains, focus, leadership, and a genuine love for taking care of people. Fortunately, this skill set lines up perfectly with two amazing ladies who have always had their heads in the clouds.
You know, for me, being from Guam, obviously I love me a good sunny day, and if it's raining on the ground, once I'm above, it's always a sunny day in a jet, and it brings me joy.
And it's just the ability to give back, the ability to be surrounded by people and kind of welcome them on board. Most especially because when I was younger, pilots would bring me into the cockpit before the flight and show me all the controls and whatnot. So I would like to be able to give back and do that for people to help inspire people like what they did for me.
First Officer Coco Costelny grew up in the industry, and the Santa Rita native always knew it was her destiny and that she touched down back on her native soil.
I'm Chamorro, so growing up on Guam, I flew Continental back in the day. Also, my father was involved with aviation in the Marine Corps, so from when I was little, I've always been inspired to the sky, and I've always wanted to fly. And I always had a goal of coming back to Guam, flying the airplanes, the 737 that you see right behind me. It was always my goal to come fly that in Guam as a Guam-based pilot.
20-year-old Kiana Clark has a year left toward completing flight school and is an original member of the local Women in Aviation chapter. She came home to speak to middle and high school females as part of United's Girls in Aviation Day.
You definitely have to be determined and disciplined. That's the two main things that I would stress most importantly. But also just love what you do. Even though times may be hard during evaluations and whatnot, it's important to remember your why and remember the reason why you started, why you want to keep going. Most especially your love for aviation as well. Getting up in the cockpit and flying, most especially solo, it's just you and the aircraft, the beautiful views, the sights to see, and if you just hold that in the back of your mind the whole time throughout your training, you'd be perfectly fine.
Captain Coco also draws upon her formative training with another globally respected organization that lets her excel at the airline.
And then also, as a former Girl Scout, always prepared. That's my motto. It's my life motto as well, and just be ready. And again, I love flying so much that it's not a job to me. It brings me joy, and by bringing joy, I can spread joy with others.
Kiana enthusiastically encourages young girls to consider aviation, not just as a vocation, but as a noble and endlessly rewarding lifelong career.
I grew up in the United environment with both my parents working for United, so just being surrounded by the community that United has really helped shape me.
And whether they've inspired young females to lead a crew from the cockpit or prepare tickets behind the counter, There are a ton of career choices waiting for you.
That's the great thing about the aviation industry. I love flying the airplanes, but I have great friends that are flight attendants, customer service agents, and here on Guam, a lot of us speak multiple languages, and that's a huge factor in the aviation industry. The mechanics, I mean, they keep us safe in flying. There's also safety at a higher level where you analyze all of these safety trends.
Both outstanding aviators happily share an incredible message that applies to any young females, allowing them to soar as they have in whatever field they choose.
The aviation community is definitely very exciting, as well as who wouldn't want to fly planes?
It's probably honestly the landing, because it's where I get to really use my skills, perfecting that landing. Much like Simone Biles would nail her gold medal landing, I'm envisioning that where I can do a perfect landing, and I'm hoping that passengers are clapping in the back because they did such a good job.
Just like Simone, greatest of all time right here. That's what's up.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by Jay Goodman, a happiness company.
This Saturday at Ipao Beach starting at 2 p.m. everybody, our friends at the Guam Nikkei Association are holding their annual lantern floating ceremony. It is a very traditional Japanese method of putting lanterns out to sea to commemorate and honor and remember those we have lost. Lantern designs begins at 2, everyone is welcome, and at 5 they will be put into the ocean. We will float the lanterns. On October the 19th, make sure to check out the Children's Ark Zombie Run. This is happening and it is back, so make sure to register for the Zombie Run. It is in Leo Palace this year. Last year was of course over in UOG, but there are festivities, food, fun for everybody. Things begin at 3 in the afternoon and go time is at 5. And to help control the pet population up in Saipan, our friends at the Spay and Neuter Clinic will be held starting on October the 14th through the 17th and 22nd through 25th at the SHS Clinic. That's over in Garapan. And that is what's happening tonight on News Bites with hand gestures.
Time now for birthday wishes.
Here's your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shoutout submitted on KUAM.com.
Faisha Marie Manabusa Martin, you are today's birthday celebrant, so happy birthday, Faye, and today and every day, you're our favorite child, ha 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 ha, says your shout out. Wishing you everything happy today and always. Happy birthday number 31, Faye. Love always, Aria Ray, and the whole family, which includes us at KUAM, because Faisha is definitely one of our awesome KUM kids, and we've known Faisha since she was a little girl. She turned out to be a wonderful mother, a wonderful nurse, a compassionate professional. And Faye, we wish you the best birthday ever, and we wish you blessings in everything you do.
Happy birthday to all of you celebrating out there today. That's your Primetime Show. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Nick Delgado.
And I'm Destiny Cruz. Have a great evening and stay beautiful.
Catch Health, Home, and Lifestyle every Tuesday following KUM News Prime Time. We've got you covered with health and lifestyle news each Tuesday on the stations of KUM and our digital streaming platforms. Health, Home, and Lifestyle is brought to you by The Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
All right, everybody, Tuesday and House to Home, Liz, Jason, and Gina. Oh, I'm sorry. That's May Campus, the wonderful May Campus. Hello, May. Long time. Very good to see you.
Thank you. Likewise.
And you know, May is one of our wonderful real estate agents here on Guam, a true professional, someone who really cares about servicing the customer, and someone who also really cares about our wonderful island community. And so May is here because we are talking about what is now become an island institution, a tradition around this time of year, the Zombie Run. So it is back from the Children's Ark.
Yes, thank you. Here's our flyer. We'll make sure we get that to you, Jason. So
I've been showing it on the news.
Yes,
I love Zombie Run.
October 19, it's a few weeks away. And this year it's going to be at Leo Palace. So we're super excited about that. We are still definitely working with the Guam Running Club in terms of the race. It is October 19, Saturday, 2K, 5K. We are opening up at 3 p.m. Our festivities will start at 3 p.m. this year, and the race will start at 5 p.m. This year, we will continue to have the pit rock climbing and some of their train rides. And also, I'm super thrilled to announce that we actually have also collaborated with Breaking Wave Theater Company. They're also an amazing local nonprofit, and they're going to be running our haunted house for us this year. So you can just imagine.
And those are budding actors, so you know they're going to bring it.
Yes, we are so stoked about it.
I love Joyce. She's awesome.
Oh, yes, yes. So those tickets are going to be $5, so very affordable. Bring the entire family, and those will run about 3 to 9 p.m. on the same day, October 19. You can register for the 5K, 2K. You can find us on our website, the Children's Arc Inc.com, and the registration is on there. It's $15 a race bib, or you can buy 5 for your family and get 1 free.
Okay, and I was there last year, and I mean, you turn in any direction. There's always a cajillion things to do. There was popcorn for the kids. Everybody was dressing up in Halloween costumes. There was zombie and ghoul face painting.
Yes.
There was the haunted, which I was too chicken to go in. I should have actually dressed up like a chicken because I didn't want to try out the haunted house. But it was really fun. And everybody, boys and girls, if you're watching this right now, make sure to tell your parents October 19th. But if you are a returnee to the zombie run, make sure you tell everybody this is at least your second time going. But make sure you tell mom and dad this year it's at Leo Palace, not UOG, because I was last year.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so do we have to register? I mean, obviously for the 2K and the 5K if you're going to run and everything, but if you just want to show up and have a good time and
yes. So if you are running, please do register. But if you want to just show up, you're more than welcome to come. And then again, you can go to the haunted house as well as do the rock climbing and the train rides.
Very cool. Okay, now this is a wonderful opportunity, not only to get out and have some fun, make some new friends, as I was saying, but also if you are someone who believes in community service as we do, at the Children's Arc, and like Liz and Gina and their husbands, and you guys all as a family down there at Remax started this. What if people just want to volunteer and they want to say, hey, I'd like to make sure that this event runs smoothly. Can I actually lend, sweat equity?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much for bringing that up. So we are actually 100% volunteer run nonprofit, and we are so gracious with all the volunteers that we've had in the past. And during the zombie run, we actually get a lot of high school students from the different schools. Right now, actually, Jodea has just committed 15 students from a club out there, and they're going to be helping us out being zombies along the course. So if anyone is interested, they can contact me, Madeline, 486-7470. The more, the merrier. And it really makes the event something else in a completely different level. So we're super excited.
Now, of course, we know that you guys at the Children's Arc, you guys have community service initiatives, throughout the calendar year, but this one holds a very special place in your heart because, this was one of the first ones. It's something to do with, like sports. It's something that involves a lot of little kids. The parents really get into it. What makes it so fun?
Year 3. Well, I think you said everything, really the inception of this was to have a family fun event put together. And of course, at the same time, our mission to give back to the community. So this is our 3rd annual zombie run, and we have been in inception for a little over 2 years. And to date, we've actually donated a little over $50,000 back to the community, mostly through the medical grants program that we have in place.
All right. Okay. Now, before I let you go, because we were talking about kids, and I know you've got a couple little ones that are waiting for you to pick them up. 3.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we're gonna let you do that because that's job number 1, right? But
thank you.
What was the best costume last year? Because I saw a bunch of people dress up like Godzilla.
Spider-Man. I mean, the zombies are really great, and shout out to the GCC cosmetology class. They're going to be helping us out this year again. So of course the zombies are really scary and spooky. But I think the inflatables always crack me up. The inflatable costumes. There was a unicorn one. She's actually from our office. And yeah, just the way they end up running in that inflatable huge costume is hilarious. Oh. And again, thanks for bringing that up, Jason. We are having a costume contest. So for the cutest, the scariest, and then the best group or family costume. We will be awarding prizes to those 3 categories.
Very cool. Okay, so this isn't the first time we're talking about Zombie Run. So May, we'd love to have you back on the show after you pick up the kids.
Get ready to soak up the savings this summer at Kmart. Since 1995, Kmart has been the ultimate summer destination for everything you need. From groceries to outdoor living to everyday fashions for the family, we've been there for you. 24 hours a day. Kmart is committed to saving you time and money by offering big international and American brands you know at prices incredibly low. Whether you're finding the perfect shade for that summer glow in our beauty care aisles, firing up your summer cookouts from top brands like Weber and Kenmore, or gearing up for those outdoor camping and beach adventures, Kmart's your one-stop shop for an active, fun-filled summer. So, join the fun and soak up the savings. You'll find everything you need and more, only at Kmart, the ultimate shopping destination in Guam, where savings, quality, and summer fun meet under one roof. Kmart, your 24-hour superstore.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
In August, of course, the National Association was in the process. They haven't, I think they're finalizing the settlement, but the objective with that was disclosure and, of course, making sure there's a distinction between a buyer's agent and a seller's agent. And in the process, we've always received compensation as a listing agent, and we've always co-broked that percentage of whatever we've received with a fellow agent who brings in a potential buyer. Now, through the system, we no longer can reflect any compensation in our multiple listing service. In the past, it would show the listing agent was getting X amount, and then a percentage of that will go to the buyer's agent. So in MLS, they prohibited that. So it's no longer showing in our multiple listing service. It just reflects the property and the features about the property. So now, as a listing agent, for example, if I list a property, I would tell Mr. Seller, I'm going to list your property, and our office policy is X amount, and this is our commission that you're paying me to represent you as Mr. Seller. Now, the thing I would do is say, okay, this is the price we're getting. This is the commission we're getting for compensation for my services. However, are you okay if I take part of that amount to pay the buyer's broker? We cannot just automatically do that. There is disclosure, and we need their permission to do that. Now, as a buyer's agent, now we have to get a written authorization to represent a buyer. So you can't just go out and show property. It is a requirement by the National Association and the Guam Association of Realtors that even before you even show a video, I can't even take you, hey, Jason, look at my office. You can't do that. You have to get a written authorization that you are representing a particular buyer.
It's like you guys are becoming agents, like, and we've talked about this before, like a sports agent would represent an athlete, or a entertainment athlete would, or an entertainment agent would represent like an actor or a director or a writer.
Everything has to be documented.
That's the way the rest of the agency world works. So I mean, it's it's no different in that sense.
The interesting part is that we have the documentation that if you're preparing a listing document and let's say a purchase agreement has increased in volume in terms of paperwork, because it's all about disclosure, disclosure, disclosure. And even in the documentation, there are 2 documents right now that says, this is what a buyer's agent does. This is what a seller agent does. This is what ABCD. And then there's another document that states, I represent you, Mr. Seller. Sign, is that okay? You sign. And if you're the buyer's agent, then they have to agree, okay, you are representing me with the disclosure document. It's a confirmation. And on top of that, you still have to sign the buyer's broker representation. So it's all about documentation. And I understand it's about the disclosure. However, I've come across some sellers that say, oh, I don't have to pay the regular commission anymore. I could just pay you. And then I would explain, yes. However, compensation, I would recommend that you consider compensation for the buyer's agent, but we need your permission to do so. Because what that does, if I'm working with you as a buyer, I'm going to say, Mr. Buyer, would you be able to compensate me for my services? And if you tell me, I'm sorry, I can't, then I would have to talk to other agents, other brokers to say, hey, I've got a potential buyer. He's unable to pay my side. Is your seller able to pay a compensation to the buyer to accommodate the buyer's broker? Everything is negotiated. Commissions are negotiated. Nothing is set in stone. So it's a matter of discussion and disclosure and clarity as to who's representing whom and how we work the paperwork and how we communicate with each other. So this process allows agents more communication in terms of transactions as they progress. We cannot talk commission. We can talk compensation and how we work that out between buyer's agents and seller's agents.
And somebody out there is going to figure out a way to streamline this and make it mobile, make it electronic and everything. And then it's not even going to be so much of a big deal, I would assume. I mean, it's growing pains, if anything, right?
I think right now is just there's so many forms and it's just getting accustomed to the proper format to utilize. Luckily, the Guam Association of Realtor had a team of professionals that reviewed the forms, and we utilized a format from the California Association, and then we adjusted it to accommodate the Guam law. Of course, we have to follow Guam law and conform to our laws here.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
In times of uncertainty, trust is what leads the way. The Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo's Select Care.
Half a day, I'm Claire Calvo, bringing you your weekly renewal. September is National Yoga Month. And 20 years ago, when Synergy first opened her doors, we started celebrating each year with 108 Sun Salutations, which is a Surya Namaskar practice. It is an open level class. However, it does take a little longer to go through 108 sequences. So it is usually a 90-minute practice. We will be celebrating this Saturday, September 28th at the East Hagatna location, Synergy Studios. And We also include pranayama, which is a breathing exercise that starts off the practice, and we close with meditation and chakra alignment. Yoga is deeply ingrained into the very foundation of Synergy. Synergy Studios was the first brick and mortar yoga studio on Guam. Like I said, we opened 20 years ago, and since then have expanded into all other kinds of classes into different locations. However, yoga is still one of our main pillars. We opened with the motto where fitness meets wellness, which is the epitome of what yoga stands for. Of course, there is the physical aspect of yoga, but as you come into a deeper practice, you learn that there is more so a mental, emotional, and spiritual component that is interwoven into the fabric of yoga. If you follow the 8 limbs of yoga, which comes with the Ashtanga lineage, you will come into a deeper understanding of all that yoga entails. So please join us this Saturday, September 28th at the East Saganya location for a 90-minute practice and delve deep into the beauty, the flow, and the life of yoga. Thank you. I will see you next time on your weekly renewal.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo's Select Care.
Something is calling, and I can't help it. Let's don't belong when there ain't no song. Watch me as I go. This is my mood when I make a move. Watch me as I let's take a break. There's no use. Let's see what's new. This is my mood when I make a move. This is my mood when
Order Pizza Hut now and get a free large pizza later. That's a free pizza on your next order. So you can pizza now, then pizza again. Free pizza means your next dinner is covered. Your future self will thank you. Get it while it's hot. Only at Pizza Hut.
Join us for Guam's premier community fundraising event to support the Guam chapter of the American Red Cross. The Red Ball 2024, Resilient and Ready, returns to the Dusitani Guam Resort on Saturday, September 28th. Enjoy a 5-course dinner, live entertainment, and a silent auction featuring exclusive items. Tickets for this black tie event are $350 per person and are selling fast. Call 671-688-0280 or message us at Instagram at Red Ball Guam for ticket inquiries. Don't miss out on this unforgettable evening. 90 cents of every dollar raised goes directly to the American Red Cross mission-related activities, and we rely solely on the generosity of donors to sustain our mission. The 2024 Red Ball, Resilient and Ready, a benefit for the Guam chapter of the American Red Cross, is brought to you by our diamond sponsors, Mobile Oil Guam and Tan Holdings, and the KUAM Care Force. Our platinum sponsors are the Bank of Guam, ASC Trust, Bank of Hawaii, and our gold sponsors are Mescla, Remax and DCA, Guam Music, Seville and Tang, GFS Group, Quality Distributors, IP&E and IP&E, ENA Engineers, First Hawaiian Bank, Takagi and Associates, Triple J, Calvo's, Glimpses of Guam, Foremost Foods, Coca-Cola Beverage Company Guam, The Deucit, and Kaufman Engineers.
Health Check is brought to you locally by Island Cancer Center.
At 36 years old, Nikki Odom began the fight of her life.
It wasn't a lump, it wasn't a bump. I just thought, okay, something is off.
It was ultimately diagnosed as breast cancer, setting off a grueling treatment plan of surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation.
What motivated you to keep going and fighting?
My kids, my life, my husband. I wanted to be here.
Doctors told her about a clinical trial for a drug approved 7 years ago, but now being tested to prevent recurrence in early breast cancer cases like hers.
It was a no-brainer for me. I was like, game on, let's do it.
Today, that drug, Kisqali, received expanded FDA approval for the most common form of early breast cancer, defined as disease that has not spread beyond the breasts and lymph nodes.
This is a huge number of patients who could potentially get this drug.
Kisqali is a daily pill taken for 3 years that works by stopping new cancer cells from growing. It's promising news, especially for those diagnosed under the age of 45, who make up roughly 10% of all new cases.
They have more aggressive disease. these may be the exact patients that Kisqali would be really helpful for. And they have a long time to live, so we really do want to minimize their risk of recurrence.
6 years later, Nikki is cancer-free.
Going through something like this, you really aren't alone. You have so much support around you. You just have to embrace it.
Kathy Park, NBC News, Nashville.
Health Check is brought to you locally by Island Cancer Center.
KUAM TV8, first on Guam.